It starts with a woman named Jennifer, a novelist. Since she's working on a new book, she decides to isolate herself in a remote area away from the city for some peace and quiet. She stops at a small store where she meets a man named Earl. He's the owner of the cabin she rented, so he gives her the key and directions on how to get there. Later, Jennifer stops at a gas station to fill up her tank. There, she notices two guys, Andy and Stanley, watching her in a creepy way. A worker named Johnny comes over and offers to help. When Johnny asks where she's staying, she tells him she's heading to a nearby cabin. After she pays him, she accidentally kicks a bucket, spilling water on Johnny's pants, which makes his friends laugh. Jennifer apologizes and leaves. She eventually reaches her cabin in the middle of the woods and starts writing. That night, while she's on the phone with a friend, she hears a noise behind the cabin. When she goes to check it out, she finds a room with the door wide open. Inside, she sees a bunch of tools and a box labeled as poisonous powder. Spooked, she shuts the door and goes back to her cabin. Later, while riding her bike, she accidentally gets soaked and goes inside to dry off. As she's changing, someone is watching her through the window. The next morning, while jogging, Jennifer comes across an abandoned old house deep in the woods. She goes inside but finds it completely empty. She returns to her cabin and heads to the bathroom, but when she turns on the tap, there's no water. She calls for help, and a man named Matthew shows up to fix the pipe. Once he's done, Jennifer kisses him on the cheek to say thank you. Embarrassed, Matthew awkwardly runs off. That evening, Matthew goes fishing with Stanley, Andy, and Johnny. While they're talking, he tells them the city girl kissed him. Johnny gets annoyed, insisting that can't be true. Then Stanley shows Johnny a video of Jennifer he secretly recorded. He was the one watching her earlier through the window. Seeing this, Johnny's mind turns dark. He starts saying terrible things about Jennifer and vows to go after her that night. That night, while Jennifer is sleeping, she hears a noise at her door. When she opens it, she finds a dead bird on her doorstep. Terrified, she runs back inside, only to find her laptop filled with photos of those same men. She's horrified. Suddenly, Johnny, Stanley, and Andy barge into her cabin and surround her. Jennifer tries to stay calm and lies, saying her boyfriend is about to arrive, so they need to leave. But Johnny smirks and says he knows she's lying, mentioning the kiss she gave Matthew. Then they actually bring Matthew into the room. Jennifer explains that the kiss was just a thank you gesture. But Johnny sneers and says he knows what city girls are really like. He hands her a bottle of alcohol and tells her to drink it if she wants them to leave. She reluctantly drinks it, but they stay. Johnny then puts a baseball bat in her mouth and tells her to bite it. He starts shaking it violently against her teeth. Then he pulls out a gun and tells her to kiss it like he's her boyfriend, forcing the barrel into her mouth. Matthew is clearly uncomfortable and looks away. Then Andy shoves a bottle into Jennifer's mouth and looks like he's about to break it when Jennifer pushes him back. She quickly grabs a spray can from her bag, sprays it into Stanley's eyes and runs out into the forest. Morning comes and Jennifer is still running. Eventually she comes across two men. One of them is Earl, the man who gave her the cabin key. She tells them everything that happened. The other man says he's a sheriff and assures her that she's safe now. The sheriff tells Earl to search the other side of the woods while he takes Jennifer back to her cabin. They search but find no one there. The sheriff notices an empty beer bottle and suggests she might have imagined everything because she was drunk. Jennifer insists it was real, that they tried to assault her. But the sheriff doesn't believe her. Instead, he pretends to search her, using it as an excuse to grope her. Just then, the three guys walk back into the cabin, grinning at her. Jennifer realizes the sheriff is in on it too. He begins hitting her and tells her something terrible is about to happen. Johnny grabs Jennifer and tells Matthew to strip. He tells him, "Tonight, you become a man." Matthew hesitantly starts undressing. Johnny then rips Jennifer's clothes and forces her to the floor. He tells Matthew to assault her. Despite Jennifer's screams, Matthew does it while the others watch. During the attack, the sheriff's daughter Angel calls him at home, asking him to come back early that day. He promises he will. After that, the group leaves Jennifer behind and walks off. Jennifer somehow gets to her feet and stumbles naked out of the cabin. But before she gets far, the five of them show up again. They surround her once more and pin her to the ground. Andy begins dunking her face into water. This time, the sheriff joins in. He strips and assaults her while she screams in agony. One by one, they all abuse her again. After they're done, they finally leave her. Barely conscious, Jennifer manages to get up and starts walking again. After all the horror she's endured, she begins to lose her grip on reality. When she reaches a bridge, all five of them show up one last time, planning to kill her. But Jennifer jumps into the river. They search for her but her body doesn't surface. They wait for hours but she never comes back up. The sheriff tells them they have to stay alert. If she escaped they could all be in serious trouble. Then he burns all of Jennifer's things to erase any trace she was ever there. That night, the sheriff returns home and sees his daughter, who surprises him with the news that she got accepted into the honors program. The next day the sheriff meets Earl and returns the cabin key, asking if the girl left. Earl lies and says yes, she did. Meanwhile, the group is still searching for Jennifer, but she's nowhere to be found. Matthew, racked with guilt, starts to break down emotionally. Then one day, Earl calls the sheriff and tells him he got a call from Jennifer's sister, asking why she hasn't come home yet and if something happened. The sheriff lies again and says she just left. But the very next morning, Stanley rushes over to Andy and Johnny in a panic. His camera, the one that had all the footage of Jennifer, has gone missing. When Johnny hears that Stanley's camera, containing all the video footage of Jennifer, has been stolen, he loses it. Furious, he starts beating Stanley and yells, "Why the hell did you even record any of that?" Later that night, while Johnny is at home, he hears a strange noise at the door. When he checks, he finds a dead bird lying outside. He assumes Stanley and Andy are trying to mess with him. But soon after, he hears another sound. This time, when he opens the door again, he sees one of Jennifer's slippers. Now he's actually scared. Then he hears rustling in the bushes. When he walks closer, he finds Matthew's rubber bands lying there. Seeing this, Johnny becomes convinced that Matthew is the one behind all of it, trying to scare them because of his guilt over Jennifer. The next day, the sheriff gets home, and his wife gives him a package someone sent. Inside there's a cassette. As soon as the sheriff sees what's on it, fear spreads across his face. He storms out, finds the boys, and starts beating Stanley, shouting, "Why the hell did you even film that stuff?" Johnny jumps in and says, "Someone messed with me last night and I swear it's Matthew. He's trying to scare us because he regrets what happened with Jennifer." The sheriff tells them to find Matthew immediately and bring him in. He then heads straight to Earl, and shoots him dead because Earl had started asking too many questions and clearly didn't trust him anymore. Meanwhile, Matthew is sitting outside Jennifer's old cabin, overwhelmed with guilt. Suddenly he hears her voice. He breaks down in tears and walks upstairs. There, on the sofa, sits Jennifer, alive. She gently calls him over and says, "I know you're sorry." Matthew begins to cry harder, apologizing. "I never meant to do that to you. I didn't want any of it to happen." Jennifer says nothing. She silently wraps a rope around his neck and tightens it until Matthew passes out. Elsewhere, Andy and Stanley are out looking for Matthew. During the search, Andy walks into an abandoned house and sees a mattress. At the same time, Stanley comes face to face with Jennifer. He tries to attack her, but his foot is caught in a hidden trap. He screams for help. Andy hears him and runs to help, but Jennifer ambushes him from behind. She knocks Stanley out with a blow to the head and drags Andy away. When Andy regains consciousness, he finds himself hanging inside a bathtub, suspended over it with a wooden stick supporting him. Jennifer turns on the tap, filling the tub with water. Meanwhile, she ties Stanley to a tree and begins recording a video. She force-feeds him a rat, then hooks fishing wire through his eyelids and ties it to the tree so he's unable to blink. Jennifer returns to Andy. He begs her for mercy, sobbing uncontrollably. Jennifer glares at him and says, "I begged you too. I came to you once asking you to stop. But none of you listened. You all destroyed me." She forces his head into the water and whispers, "Now I'll destroy you." She walks away, finds a fish, slices it open and shoves the bloody guts into Stanley's eyes. Then she goes back to Andy, pours acid into the water and kicks the stick out from beneath him. He plunges into the acidic water, screaming as it burns his skin and face. As for Stanley, the fish guts in his eyes attract birds. They begin pecking and eating the flesh right out of his eyes. He screams as they rip his eyeballs out, and eventually dies in agony. Jennifer kills them both brutally. After that, Jennifer heads to the gas station, finds Johnny, and knocks him out cold. When he wakes up, he's naked and tied to a chair. Jennifer stands in front of him with a cold expression. "Do you know what I'm going to do to you?" she asks. Without waiting for an answer, she begins pulling out his teeth one by one. Johnny screams in pain and curses her. Jennifer just smirks and says, "You were always so proud of your manhood. But after today..." She grabs a pair of scissors and castrates him, then stuffs what she cut off into his mouth. Johnny lets out one final scream before dying from the shock and pain. Meanwhile, the sheriff is at work when his wife calls him. She tells him that a teacher from their daughter Angel's school came by. Then Angel gets on the phone and says, "Daddy, my new teacher is really nice. She's taking me to the playground. Alarmed, the sheriff asks to speak with the teacher. On the line, he hears Jennifer's voice. She says her name calmly. The sheriff freezes. "Please, don't hurt my daughter," he begs. Jennifer hangs up. She takes Angel away with her. Later, when the sheriff rushes home, his wife says the teacher already left with their daughter for the playground. Panicked, he drives there and searches everywhere, but can't find Angel. As he gets back into his car, Jennifer ambushes him from behind and knocks him out. When the sheriff comes to, he finds himself tied up with his shotgun painfully shoved into his backside. He screams in agony. Jennifer walks over slowly. He begs her, "Please, please don't kill me. Let me go." Jennifer ignores him and keeps pushing the shotgun deeper. "That's exactly how I felt," she hisses. "When you monsters held me down and destroyed my life." The sheriff, gritting his teeth, asks, "What did you do to my daughter?" Jennifer looks at him and replies, "Your daughter is young. She's beautiful. How would you feel if someone did to her what you did to me?" "If anyone even touches my daughter," the sheriff growls, "I'll kill them." Jennifer leans in and whispers, "That's exactly what I'm doing now. Giving you the same punishment." She ties a rope to the trigger of the shotgun and connects the other end to Matthew's hand. Matthew, still unconscious, lying nearby. Jennifer tells the sheriff, "When he wakes up, both of you are done." Then she leaves the room and waits outside. Eventually, Matthew opens his eyes. He's confused and terrified to see the sheriff across from him. The sheriff immediately shouts, "Don't move. Stay still." But it's too late. Matthew moves his hand instinctively, just enough to pull the rope. The shotgun fires. The blast rips through the sheriff and hits Matthew. Both of them die on the spot. Outside, Jennifer finally smiles. She got her revenge. All 5 monsters who hurt her are dead. And with that, the nightmare is over.